All right, Geminis, how are you all doing? Welcome in. This is your monthly individual zodiac sign reading, and we are in your month. So this is for June. So happy birthday, Geminis. We'll tap in and see what's going on for your all birthdays. I know some of you had birthdays the end of May. But this will be for happy birthday in general to the Geminis out there. And let's talk a little bit about the month of June. So this is your time to shine. This is where you're going to feel in alignment. This is your solar return. And for June, the monthly themes and reflections. So this is all about Gemini energy. So we have communication, growth, and learning. So if you have been following my channel for a while, you know I think this is the third month I've added the monthly themes and reflections to the monthly zodiac sign reading. So we talk about kind of what is the energy for that month. What are those themes and energies that you should sit and kind of reflect on? What do those mean to you? So communication, growth, learning. I recommend writing down those three things and kind of tapping in really deep to think, what do I feel about this? What does communication mean to me right now in my life? Where can I improve? Because technically, balanced Geminis are going to be the expert communicator of the zodiac. If you are not in harmony as a Gemini, then that could be a major area of growth or lessons for you, is around communication. How do I communicate? How am I receptive to others' communication? And Gemini loves learning. It's an air sign, so there's that intellect piece. So it's about connecting to your life in areas that really, fill you, that grow your wisdom, that help kind of inspire you. You also like relationships that have that similar intellectual property or connection there. So, sit on those three things and see what those mean for you right now in your life. This month we have the Gemini new moon on, that was actually last month on the 26th, but we have the full moon in Sagittarius on June 11th, and then we have a new moon in Cancer on June 25th. All right, so Sag is another fellow air sign. So that full moon should really tap into, things that resonate for you Geminis out there. All right, let's see here. I was just trying to see because I thought we had... Yes, so for June, we have another of the big outer planets moving signs. So that is Jupiter. Jupiter's moving into Cancer. We had Saturn that moved into Aries in May. I'm trying to think, was there another one? Neptune, I thought maybe it was Neptune. Anyways, so then we had Pluto that moved the end of last year. So we have a lot of big energies right now. In June, what I've been channeling since the beginning of the year is that June was going to be a pivotal kind of shift point for the collective. And we're really going to feel it, and we're going to see it actually manifesting into our reality. So you are the first individual zodiac sign I'm doing for June. So you are going to start us off. You're going to be our guinea pigs for May. So I'm interested to see what this is going to look like for you guys. So this applies to Sun, Moon, or Rising, or Venus Geminis out there. So let's see what is going to unfold for you guys in June. So I'm going to do one of the Time Traveler Oracles, and then 2 of the, I always forget, the Energy Oracle cards. And Geminis, if you are so inclined, I just want to remind everyone, if you're interested in a personal reading, you can schedule one with me. You can do that on my website, which is below in the description box. And I also wanted to kind of show you guys, I've kind of talked a little bit about my books, so you can, they again align with spirituality and our existence here as humans in this physical reality. So I wanted to show those. If you're interested in getting more further information, you can get both of those on Amazon. And it is a series, so I book 1 and 2 out. It is called The Sum of Everything, and it is about the human existence in relation to heaven and us here on the physical plane. So showing you guys those. All right, let's get started. So the first card out is Reflection, Mount Shasta's Moon. So I'm actually, I just changed my mind. I'm going to pull 2 of these. Exuberance, the Roaring 20s in Paris. Okay, and then I'm going to pull 2 of these. So we have Rest and Rejuvenation. I'm picking up on a potential trip for you or retreat. Second chakra, Archangel Ariel. That came up last month. Was it for you guys? I can't remember, but that's interesting. So there's a focus on your second chakra. That is your sacral chakra. And I'm picking up too, like with this reflective energy and this rest and rejuvenation, there's this inner kind of need to do some reflection, internal reflection. Connecting, I'm also getting, channeling in, there's some sort of information that is coming to you, through you, that you need to kind of reflect on. It's going to help you in your life and how to move forward. I feel like there's something you need to, there's some reflection too about your path, and how you got to where you are right now. And I do feel like there's a shift point here in June of where you need to figure out kind of the new path forward. I also feel like connecting through the energy of your second chakra here. There's like also, what's interesting is his hands are kind of, there's some energy in the same area. So I feel like there's a need as well to kind of harmonize that area that you could have blocks in your second chakra. So if you want to focus on a chakra and maybe there's a blockage there, you can do some sort of, any sort of energy healing to help with that. But I think what's coming into your life is this exuberance card. I'm feeling more freedom, fun, this need to just kind of get out of your mind. Geminis, that's very you, is to be in your mind a lot. You're an air sign. I feel like there's a need to shift out of the mind and not think so much about things and analyze. And it's more about expressing yourself physically and connecting with other people. So I feel like there's going to be a potential like transition period of where there's a little bit more rest and rejuvenation. Maybe there's this last point of like needing to maybe disconnect from your normal life, take a retreat, go on vacation, get away to help kind of reflect on how you, again, there's something about reflecting on the past, but reflecting on how you got to where you are right now. And, and there's information coming about what to do next. And I do feel like there's a period, you know, starting in June, moving forward, a new period of your life that's going to feel lighter. There's a lot more fulfillment, maybe fun enjoyment that you'll experience. All right. Let's dive into the tarot. And I just want to make sure here I got these all aligned. All right, Geminis. First card out, High Priestess. Yeah, look at that. All three of these cards. And even this, you know, this High Priestess deck, the card in this deck, there's, again, this reflection. There's this water down here. And there's, you know, the High Priestess. This is really referring to your, again, spiritual self, you more expanding from an energetic standpoint, spiritual, getting information. The High Priestess is getting higher information from her higher self, she or he. And there's this integration happening that's creating this harmony, kind of this harmonious integration between the physical self and the higher self. And when we can merge those two and create that harmony is when we're at our kind of on our higher path. We're at our kind of the best kind of harmonious that we can be. And then there's, both of them have the moon in this deck too. So there's something about this inner deep unconscious self as well, where we're connecting emotions, we're connecting to our unconscious mind, we're connecting to the higher energies. There's this real depth going on here. Four of Wands, Five of Swords, Knight of Swords, the Judgment card, Page of Pentacles, and then we have the, wow, Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, and then we have a choice here. Wow. It all ends, and that's where I feel this kind of reflection is about getting to a place where we figure out what's the next phase. And it's going to involve a decision, some sort of choice, because there is going to be an opportunity here that's going to present itself for you. We have two aces. So there's a big new beginning that's about to take place. And I think you need the time to really reflect, like I said in the beginning of the reading. So that needs to happen for you to get through to approach this new opportunity. There's going to be some choices. Seven of Cups. There could be multiple choices here or multiple opportunities. And then it's about making a decision here. And I think the big thing here is there's a new beginning that's really going to open up a period of more fulfillment for you, feeling fulfilled by what you're doing, what you're experiencing. It could be more fulfilled connections as well, which I really like this. And what I'm picking up on this Page of Pentacles with this Ace, it's almost like this opportunity presents itself. This could be an offer from somebody. And at first you're like, is this, you know, it seems like, okay, this could be something good, but it seems smaller than it really is. It appears not as important or big from the front end, but what's behind this is some big opportunity for you to really expand your life. It's going to turn into something really big for you, and that's going to be really fulfilling. I think it's going to bring in abundance for you, but I sense that at first it's a little deceptive, and that's also this Judgment. There's like a crossroads here. There's a crossroads, and you really need to be connected to make the best decision for yourself, because there's this sense of also don't fall into old patterns. And there could be something here too with this Knight of Swords about don't make too quick of a decision that's impulsive. There's this sense of needing to really spiritually connect, and you could have a part of you, the old self, that's very impulsive, that wants to make a certain decision, but your higher self is going to be guiding you towards something else. And I think you need to listen. You need to be really connected and clear in listening to the messages, the guidance coming in for you. Because there's some sense here too of like wanting to control and manipulate to get what you want. It's almost like you're trying to control an outcome. Like you think you know what this looks like, the Four of Wands, right? You think you know what abundance looks like and how it's going to unfold. What maybe if it's a relationship wise, like you feel like you know, it can be, you know, this Four of Wands can be anything from relationship to a living situation, a house, family, something that brings us more fulfillment in our personal life, and feeling like you need to manipulate to try and get what you want out of a situation as well. But part of that root motivation is when we have these sort of dynamics is because we just, there's this sense of like, there's not enough for everyone. So we have to try and hold on to the resources, things, or certain types of behaviors because we're afraid that if we don't, you know, almost that like win or lose. If I don't win at controlling what this looks like, I'm going to lose out on something. And that could have been behavior patterns that really need to be, there's something too about a lesson, about learning that these sorts of behavior patterns, because you Geminis, right, these are swords. So you're a little too leaning heavily in the mind. And when you are kind of in relation to the external world or even yourself, you tend to use the intellect a little too much, where we need to find some harmony and balance between our mindset, our emotional body, and our spiritual body. Because I think there is a big lesson here to learn as well with this Page of Pentacles. And it's going to blast in. Like the lesson has to be learned because whatever pattern has been happening for you, it needs to end. And that's where we really need to be highly aware of the self. So there's a lot of information here on the bottom of the deck. So this is kind of what's unfolding, but I also feel like this is what's happening energetically for you. And what really needs to be your heightened awareness is more of what's on the bottom than what's happening in the physical, okay? So we have the Two of Wands, another decision point here. Eight of Cups. Do I walk away from something? Do I walk away from something, or do I walk towards something that's different? Yes, endings. There is some big shift, or there's some big energy about endings and new beginnings for you, Gemini. And I think in June, it's going to be about new beginnings. What's the new path here with the Two of Wands? So we have the Queen of Cups, the Three of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. So there is something going, or has been going on in your life. The root of the reading here is this Three of Swords. I do feel like you, something is ending for you. You've been through a lot of heartache in your life, and I feel like it's tied to this pattern. It could be tied to a specific relationship with a water sign. Seeing if there's any other signs here that show up. We have water. We have another Gemini. Yeah, there's like water energy and there's a Gemini. So you could be connected to a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or another Gemini. But you've been very stuck. You've been feeling very stuck. It's almost like in regards to a situation, you're feeling very, like you don't have control. You haven't had control of the situation, which goes back to this Five of Swords. Like you like control, and you like things to happen exactly as you want them. Maybe you even tend to want people to do things the way you want them to do it. And if they don't, it kind of creates imbalance for you. But there is some, you know, I also see this Eight of Swords as like the ties that bind us. That's what keeps us stuck. is we've tied ourselves to certain mindsets that have kept us stuck. I think it's more the mindset. And as you see, the Three of Swords is also the swords, which are the mind, but the heart, right, is the emotional body. So we have the Four of Pentacles, the Six of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. So you've been holding on to something. You've been holding on to something because it could be a mindset, it could be a job, it could be a relationship. But I feel like there's a pattern here, and you've held on to these beliefs or patterns because it's what you know. And these are all things that are very unconscious, because you would say, well, I don't want, you know, I don't like this pattern. Why would I choose to hold on to things that kind of create disease or challenge or suffering in my life? But this revolves, too, the Four of Pentacles is around blocks. You've put up protective blocks around yourself because you don't trust the world, you don't trust people, you don't trust being vulnerable and opening yourself up to create situations that are in harmony. So it could be a deceived mindset about these situations or people or relationships or jobs, and you kind of create the disease because you are already approaching something with a belief about it, if that makes sense. There's to me more with the Six of Wands, which is interesting because we have the Three of Swords. This to me is about a false sense of needing to be like recognized. Like I need to be recognized, and because I'm not being like, you know, in this card, it can be a card of like the ego a bit, where I want people to like, you know, he's the man on the horse, and he wants all the attention, and he wants everyone to give him attention and see how good he is and how hard he's worked and all these things. But ultimately, like, I feel like that sort of mindset is from the ego, and it has created a lot of disharmony for you, because if you're not being, you know, praised and, you know, everyone loves you type of energy, it's created a lot of challenge for you because you don't know how to deal with that, because you want this attention. But there's something about these emotions that you need to like work through and integrate and leave behind, because ultimately I like that you're moving in a direction of the Nine of Pentacles. This is like moving almost more on your own. You know, if this is work related, it could be that you're going to be doing something that you have more control over, that you kind of could be your own business or something where you're bringing in your own money. There's like this feeling of like less control. If it's a relationship, potentially these cards are lining up, it could be that you are deciding to walk away from a relationship that's been, you know, really left a deep imprint on your heart here. But like the Nine of Pentacles can refer to like choosing to be single here. So let's see, I'm going to grab a different deck to clarify a couple things. What's this choice? What's this choice about? Ace of Wands? Seven of Cups. What is it you really want? What is it that I really desire? I think there's a lot of confusion at the moment for you, or it could be in the beginning of June. But I feel like you want to be passionate about something. You want to have something where you can put in your creative energy, where you feel excited about again. And I do feel like there's been a sense of confusion, but this ace, you have two or three of the aces now. So I do feel like this, again, this energy of new beginnings coming. And it's kind of like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, is is something what I really desire, or is it something else? So there is this sense of, for a lot of you, I think there's a decision about like walking away from something towards something that's better for you, or just like making a decision about what's going to be, like, if you're looking at potential future paths, what is the right path for me? And the Four of Cups came out. So there could have been a lot of disappointment in your life, or even recently. It could be about two in this specific deck. This almost always comes up. It kind of can refer to some addictions that you or someone you've been connected to is dealing with some sort of addictive patterns, behaviors, and I feel like if you, Gemini, have dealt with some sort of addictions or behavior patterns, it doesn't have to be like a drug addiction or alcohol. Or, it can just be behavior patterns that you have an addiction to, which you continuously have the same behavior patterns that create the same sort of patterns or outcomes that have caused a lot of heartache for you. And that could be someone you're connected to. But I feel like this has impacted your life path and what you've recently been through. Let's talk to this Queen of Cups, Chariot, Nine of Swords. So, you know, in just the first glance here, this Queen of Cups is looking to my right, which I kind of refer to the future, like they're looking in a direction. The Queen of Cups is kind of that expert. The Queen and King of Cups are experts at the emotional body. They're vulnerable. They have a lot of love to give. She's holding her cup like I have a cup to offer. But she's looking in the future like she knows where she's going. This person knows where they're going and they want to get there quickly. But there's some sense of anxiety here. So I don't know if that's connected. It's obviously connected to you, Gemini. Maybe that's you. Maybe it's someone you're connected with. And I feel like the anxiety is coming from you, though, Gemini. Here's more swords. And there's some worry and anxiety about the direction this person's going, and if you want to go in that direction, or if you can. And I do feel a lot of it, though, this Nine of Swords, again, it's your mindset. Like it's your own fears and like overthinking, and that's kept you stuck and in this protective energy, like I got to protect myself. And there's a lot of fear I'm feeling about getting out of your comfort zone. So let's what's the ultimate guidance for you before we close out here? What's the ultimate guidance for the month? Nine of Pentacles again. Five of Pentacles. There's some sense of worry. It could be about money or just feeling strength. So you're overcoming some sort of period that's been lackluster. There could be some financial constraints or financial issues that you're trying to also overcome. But I like the Nine of Pentacles because the guidance here is kind of saying, like, connect to your authentic self and utilize that energy to help guide you on your path ahead. And you're going to get the information you need. You have all these cards around, like High Priestess, reflection. There's a lot of spiritual connective information coming to you. And I feel like you're going to go in a period, if you can get out of your way, okay? Get out of your fears, get out of your head, get out of like needing to feel safe in your comfort zone. This can also be lack mentality of like, you know, the Four of Pentacles can be about, well, you know, I have to do this type of work or job and I don't have a choice because I need to pay the bills or something like that. That's kept you stuck, but we need to expand if you want to raise the bar of like what kind of money you're bringing in or what kind of relationships you're bringing in. One more here. Queen of Swords. Yeah, getting very clear with yourself about what you want. it's like there's something about getting very clear. There's clarity coming. You're going to see what direction you're going in. And there's like, you're cutting out all the shit that's not working, and you are going to be on your best and highest path when it comes to how you communicate, your goals, what you're doing and what's not working, and making sure that doesn't happen again on the new path for you. All right, Geminis, lots going on here in June. But I do feel by the end of June, though, you're going to have this Ace of Pentacles. So if you're waiting for an opportunity, it's coming. It's coming here. So I would say the end of June. Let's just get a timing card quick. I know this is getting long, but what is the timing on this Ace of Pentacles for you guys? What does your intuition feel the time frame is? That is the answer. Everything's about your intuition right now. There is a blockage you are not aware of. So, spot on. These cards line up. This is your block. There's a blockage you are not aware of. This is the unconscious stuff going on. Identify it, then come back and ask again at a later time. So I feel like your guides don't want to give you an exact time frame, because I feel like there's something you need to learn about really trusting the guidance you're receiving and not just needing the exact information, which is that mental, that air energy that you are, Gemini. So interesting. Love it. Well, you guys have a great June. Also, we have the summer solstice towards the end of June. So we're shifting gears, we're shifting seasons as well, which totally aligns with, you know, this new path. So I will see you in the next reading, Geminis. Bye for now.